Now, Billy Jack said he underwent some lie detector tests. Was that through you?
Yes, it was. He took two different lie detector tests. Voluntarily took them. They came back inconclusive, and the reason they came back inconclusive, according to the polygrapher, he said that Billy Jack's health was such that he could not take a good polygraph. That he said that he noticed Billy Jack's heart bumping out of his chest as they were talking, and Billy Jack told me that he had a heart aneurysm. So I told that to the polygrapher, and he said, well, that's one of the reasons we can't get a good polygraph exam. So he tried on two different occasions. I've got that documented with the polygraph examiner, and he volunteered to assist Linda Ives in any way he could. There was a conversation between me and a member of the Saline County Sheriff's Office. I recorded, and we asked that they recuse themselves from doing the investigation because the sheriff, who is current legal sheriff in Saline County, is the nephew of one of the guys Billy Jack named as being on the tracks that night, and is a good friend with another one of the guys on the tracks that night. So we didn't feel like there would be a legitimate investigation conducted at that time.
Do you think that there's any way Billy Jack could have known some of the people that he says were involved in this, that you think also could have been involved with this, if he didn't have some direct experience with them?
No, I think Billy Jack, the reason I believe Billy Jack is that he brings things into light that we had no idea of. And I have interviewed two different witnesses that have told me that Billy Jack told them back in 1990s that about the boys on the tracks and him being involved and that kind of thing. And Linda Ives and Larry Ives had another autopsy done. At that point, they found that one of the boys had been stabbed in the back, and they found that the other one's head had been crushed prior to being laid on the railroad tracks.
And they were also covered with a tarp as well, which was one of the things that made it a little unbelievable that they would have just conveniently both passed out on the railroad tracks because of this cover that they were covered with, that the guy that was operating the train noticed they were covered with this green tarp, I believe.
Yeah, there were three different people in the train that observed the boys laying on the tracks, and all of them said the same thing, that there was a tarp covering part of their body. And Billy Jack, in his statement, says that they laid a tarp. He assisted in laying the tarp on the boys that night and placed the boys' .22 rifle on the tracks in between the two boys. So Billy Jack is not trying to hide the fact that he was there.
Now, did Linda Ives hold any animosity towards him? Because if my son had been murdered and we have an accomplice to the murder coming out saying he was involved in the cover-up, I would be pretty upset. And it seems you've sent me some pictures of the two of them together, hugging and with their arms around each other. It seems that she doesn't really hold any animosity towards him, even though he's alleging that he was involved in the cover-up of the murder.
Well, I can't speak for Linda, but I know that she was, she knew she had been stonewalled for over 30 years, and she always prayed that somebody would come forward, either because they were on their deathbed or because they had a guilty conscience. But she knew that was the only way she was ever going to get the truth. And so I think she was acceptable that he was telling what had happened. I think Billy Jack was more concerned that Larry Ives the father of the boy might do him harm. And Billy Jack said, I couldn't blame him if he did. I could understand him being mad, but Larry Ives, he did not indicate any animosity at that time.
Now, what is the official murder cause as of now? Because you mentioned that the original autopsy that many believe was tampered with, it was on Unsolved Mysteries and so forth, was that these kids had supposedly smoked somewhere around 20 marijuana cigarettes while out hunting deer, I guess, in the middle of the night, and that's when they decided randomly to lay down on the tracks and pass out. Is that still the official cause of death?
No. After Linda got involved in it, she raised so much cane that the Saline County, where this murder occurred, had a grand jury. And that grand jury met, and after meeting for a period of time, they came back with a finding that the murders of the death of the two boys was in fact two homicides. So at that point, it all changed from being an accidental death, from them laying on the tracks, to a homicide.
Now, for those that don't know, is this common in Arkansas to go hunting at night, or do you think they were actually aware of the drug drops and actually trying to steal the drug drops, or were they just innocently hunting in the middle of the night?
Yeah, it is common for people to what we call spotlighting in Arkansas. You know, it's illegal, but it's a common occurrence. It happens all the time.
You were a police officer in the past in Arkansas. Could you just tell us a little bit about your law enforcement background and what led to you becoming a private investigator?
Sure. I was 19 when I started at the Little Rock Police Department. I could not be a police officer until I turned 21, so I worked inside doing filing of rap sheets and that kind of thing. So when the day I turned 21, they gave me a gun and a badge and told me to go arrest all the bad guys, and I thought they meant it. Turned out 25 years later, I'm retired from the police department, and knowing nothing else except investigations, I started my own private investigation agency, and I've been doing that now for 25 years. While I was at the police department, I made lieutenant, and I supervised homicide investigators after actually working homicides myself.
And do you think there's any other reason for Billy Jack Haynes to come forward with this story other than he's telling the truth and he wants it off his conscience?
Well, if there's any other reasons, I sure can't think of it. I mean, the guy has put his life at risk as well as his freedom. I mean, he could be charged. Billy Jack asked me, he said, can I be charged with murder? And I said, absolutely, you could be. And he said, well, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, he's put his life at risk and his freedom at risk. So I can't think of any good reason that he won't interject himself into this double murder.
And do you think it's just going to be as it is now? Nothing further is really going to be done about this? It's just going to be a cold case, or is there hope for some justice for the Ives family and the other family that had their son killed?
No, Hannibal, there's not going to be any justice. Okay. My tip line is 501 219 0200. 501 219 0200.
Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this. I still haven't seen the America's Most Wanted episode because when you search it up, there's so much junk that pops up. Is the America's Most Wanted episode of this story still online somewhere?
It was a couple of years ago. I'll check and see if I can find it. If I can, I will text you a link to it.
All right. Well, thank you very much again for taking the time. I know we've had some connection issues over the past week, but hopefully this works out well. Is there any final message you'd like to tell the viewers to close this off?
I would just invite them to go to hidingfiles.com and do their own research.